You ever look at a big list of numbers, like test scores or temperatures or stats for your favorite player, and your eyes just kind of glaze over? How are you supposed to make any sense of it all? Well, what if I told you there are a few really cool tricks to boil that whole list down to just one single number that tells the story? That's exactly what we're going to break down today.
So, this is the big question, right? How do you take a whole group of numbers and describe it with just one? Because let me tell you, once you get the hang of this, you've got a superpower for understanding pretty much anything, from how your favorite team is doing to, super complex scientific data. It's a game changer.
All right, to make sure this all makes sense, we're going to use one simple example the whole way through. So here are the final scores for 5 players in some game. Take a good look at these numbers: Alex with a 90, Carlos with a 100. Get to know them because we're about to put them through their paces. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to build our statistical toolkit with 4 key concepts: the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. And you're definitely going to want to stick around till the end because that's when we'll talk about the real secret sauce, knowing which one of these tools to pull out of the box and when. First up, let's talk about the mean. Now, you probably know this by another name: the average. Yep, it's the one we all learned in school. It's kind of the workhorse of statistics, and for a really good reason. So, what is the mean officially? It's just the average. And how do you find it? Oh, it's super simple. You literally just add up all the numbers you have in your group, and then you divide that big total by how many numbers you started with. That's it. Okay, let's do this with our player scores. First, we add them all up. We've got 90 plus 80 plus 100 plus another 90 and plus 70, which gives us a nice round 430. Now, we had 5 players, right? So we just take that 430 and divide it by 5. And voila, the mean score is 86. So if someone asked, hey, how did the players do overall? You could say the average score was an 86. It gives you a really solid, balanced picture of how the whole group performed. But wait, the average isn't the only game in town when it comes to finding the center. Let's pull another tool out of our kit. It's time to meet the median, and this one is all about finding the actual middle of the road. Now, the median is the number that's sitting smack dab in the middle of the list. But, and listen up, because this is the most important part, you have to put the numbers in order first, from lowest to highest. Seriously, if you skip this step, you are going to get the wrong answer every single time. It's the golden rule of the median. So let's do it with our scores. First, we line them up. So that's 70, then 80, then 90, another 90, and finally 100. See? Now that they're all in a neat little row, finding the one right in the center is going to be a piece of cake. And there it is. The median score is 90. Now hold on. Notice that's different from our mean, which was 86. The median tells us something else. It tells us that half the players scored below 90 and half the players scored above it. It's the true halfway point. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, what happens if you have an even number of scores and there's no single middle number? Great question. It's actually pretty easy. You just find the 2 numbers sharing the middle spot, add them together, and find their average. You just split the difference. All right, so we've covered the average and the middle. Our third tool, the mode, comes at our data from a totally different perspective. This one is all about one thing: popularity. I mean, the definition here is about as simple as it gets. The mode is just the number that pops up most often in your list. It's the most frequent, the most common, the most popular kid in class. So if we look back at our sorted list of scores, can you spot it? Let's see, we've got 170, 180, and 100. But that score of 90? Aha, that one shows up twice. So, you guessed it, the mode of our scores is 90. This just tells us that the score of 90 was the most common result among our group of players. Simple as that. Okay, team, we've looked at 3 ways to find the center of our data. But that's not the whole story, is it? I mean, what if the scores are all over the place? To figure that out, we need our last tool for today: the range. The range gives us a feel for how spread out or consistent our data is. It's just the difference between the absolute highest number and the absolute lowest number. So a tiny range means everyone's scores were pretty close, but a huge range means they were all over the map. And calculating this one is an absolute breeze. For our players, first we grab the highest score. That was Carlos's perfect 100. Then we find the lowest score, which was Evan's 70. And the final step, just a little subtraction. And that gives us a range of 30. So what's that 30 telling us?
It means there's a 30-point gap between the best performance and the worst. It's a quick and easy way to measure the total spread of the scores in the game. So, there we have it. 4 tools: mean, median, mode, and range. They all look at the same 5 numbers but give us 4 different answers. So the million-dollar question is, how in the world do you know which one to use? Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet. You use the mean when you want a balanced overall average, like for test scores. You'd use the median for something like house prices, because you don't want one giant mansion to throw off the whole number. The mode is perfect for finding out the most popular choice, like what t-shirt size a store should stock up on. And you use the range to see how consistent something is, like a basketball player's points per game. The big takeaway is this: the right tool always depends on the question you're asking. And I'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. Picture this: a billionaire walks into a coffee shop with 5 regular people. Instantly, the mean, or the average wealth of everyone in that cafe, shoots up to millions of dollars. But has anyone actually gotten any richer? Nope, of course not. That's a perfect example of how one crazy number can totally mess with the mean. So here's my question for you. In that same coffee shop, what do you think would happen to the median wealth? I'll let you think on that one. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.